Japan's top four were at the recent Shanghai Auto Show, but unfortunately so far the score's China 55, Japan 4. Japan is way behind. They're exhibiting all sorts of cars at the Shanghai Auto Show, but we all know that EVs are the name of the game now. They're the future, and Japan is way behind. What can the Japanese do now to return serve? Hi, I'm Roscoe, and this is news at Amazing EV. And after looking at the Shanghai Auto Show and seeing what was on display from the Japanese manufacturers, we thought we'd reflect back onto the Australian market and just see what was going on here in Australia, because so far it's been disappointing to say the least. Remember the great start they had years ago with the I-MiEV? The Nissan Leaf, of course, is legendary. But more recently, we've had the, well, pretty boring BZ4X from Toyota. The Mazda MX-30 is missing in action. Unfortunately, the Nissan Leaf was chopped a couple of years ago as well. So Toyota lead with hybrids instead. That's the same Toyota, you know, that brought us the Celica and the Super and the Crown and the Cressida and the Corolla, all beautiful, elegant names. BZ4X sounds more like a droid from a Star Wars movie, but with all credit to R2-D2, it probably had more intelligence than the BZ4X does.
Don't get technical with me. I've just about had enough of you.
What can the Japanese do now to return serve? Well, once again, the name of the game is collaboration and cooperation with Chinese joint ventures. So now, incredibly, you get the Toyota BZ5, a collaboration with FAW that looks like a fantastic car. If you've seen the latest Prius from the US, it's heavily influenced or styled similar to that car. Just imagine for a moment what would happen if Toyota actually thought that EVs were a great idea in Australia. It'd be a very different landscape. Mazda have had a couple of goes with EVs, the MX. Not so successful so far, but now they're collaborating with Changan, which we've got here in Australia under different guises, and they produce the EZ60. They've been working with Changan for many years to make Mazda cars for the Chinese market. Very successfully. Mazda was a very popular brand in China as well. But again, this one looks like a real Mazda, a real SUV Mazda. Again, this should bring Mazda back again. It looks like a Mazda, again, for the China market only, unfortunately, at this stage. Honda gave us the GAC P7. They're partnering with GAC, Guangzhou Automotive Group. Again, they haven't quite got their EV mojo back yet. No mention of the O series and the Zero series that they showcased at the CES only 2 or 3 months ago. They were nowhere to be seen. And of course, if you go back to that beautiful car they produced 5 years ago and introduced into the British market, we thought they were on track for EV Utopia. That was going to be it. Nothing since. They seem to have lost their way. And the P7 doesn't seem to be quite what we're looking for from Honda just yet. Nissan are not down and out completely yet either, and they presented their grand plan at a media presentation during the Shanghai Auto Show, and it's centered around the N7, a fully electric sedan, again, a collaboration with Feng, locally made for the local market. In fact, as we speak, this one's going on sale in China right now, and this strategy appears to be in parallel with a media release that Nissan put out about a month ago, outlining a couple of new models, including a new Leaf for Australia for 2026, and the Aria, which is doing pretty well in the US at the moment, up against Tesla. Been on sale over there for a year or two now, still coming to Australia in 2026. All this, including Nissan's ongoing commitment to Formula E, which, if you haven't had a look at recently, take a look at this, because this is exciting stuff now.
Foot down. Instant torque. Pupils dilate.
I'm a Formula One fan. This is also next level racing as well. The tech's going faster and faster. Racing is incredible. No one finishes where they started on the pole. Take another look, because Formula E, especially in cities like Miami, is attracting a lot of attention now.
Instant torque. Pupils dilate. Hairs stand on end.
And of course, all this on the back of a very shaky financial background for Nissan. Remember, it wasn't so long ago they were talking joint venture or merger with Honda. All that's disappeared, and look, we've got plans for the future for Nissan. So, look, they're down, but they're not out yet. So the Japanese EV fightback has finally started, and JVs are the name of the game. Japanese companies are continuing a joint venture with their Chinese partners to make EVs under the Japanese names specifically for the Chinese market. We just hope they start extending some of these models around the world, and we see them in countries like Australia. But keep an eye out for a feature we're doing later this week on EV Utes. And there's one Japanese company that is featuring in that lineup. So they are making a comeback into what is going to be a huge market for EVs, EV Utes. It's on its way, and the existing ICE manufacturers can't hold back the tidal wave of EV Utes, so they're on their way. I'm Roscoe, and we'll see you next time.